What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling Podcast Zoom edition. This is episode number 42. We're doing our part to try to be safe. We're quarantining ourselves in our own individual homes. This is a unique time in the world right now. There's no blueprint and there's no guidelines yet on how we're gonna fix this, but I'm 100% confident if we just stay hopeful and we just do as we told and do our part, we're gonna get through this okay. But anyways, joining me is our co-host, Fred Rosser, aka Darren Young, aka Mr. No Days Off.
I was wondering when you were gonna bring me in, brother. This Zoom isn't about you.
It's a little bit about me. So it's about all of us.
Oh, ho, ho, we're neighbors. I can come right over and give you the gut check, baby.
Here's the thing, you're not allowed to.
Don't start with me.
You have to stay home.
I can do whatever I want, okay? This is a very important episode of Pro and Bro Wrestling. We always talk about the wrestling. We always talk about the production side of wrestling. But now we want to dabble in. We want to get into health. And you know me, my motto is health is wealth. And joining us is singer, songwriter, actor, entrepreneur, my keto coach, Nat Ho to the world. But he's Nat King Ho to me.
Hey.
Well, thanks, Fred, and thanks for having me on the show, you guys. My name is Nat. I am originally from Singapore, and I am now studying in LA, studying music production in LA. And honestly, the main reason why I'm here is actually really Ketones, and it's just been such a crazy journey. And I think today is a really good episode to talk about ketones, given the entire situation, the crazy situations that's out there, and the whole social distancing thing. And I mean, as Fred mentioned just now, there's always the production aspect of wrestling, but more and more there's also the health and the fitness and the performance aspect of wrestling, because I mean, although it is live action theater, it still very much is a sport, right? And
Absolutely.
like Fred is easily like one of the top performance athletes in his game. So somebody like that would definitely need everything in their arsenal to be at the top of their game, right?
Very true.
Coach Nat, before we get started, I gotta ask you, this is a wrestling podcast. Do you have you ever watched professional wrestling? Do you have any stories that you can let our audience in on?
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, funny story, because I grew up in a very sheltered, very Christian household. My mom was like, okay, you're not allowed to watch violent shows on TV. So I never got a chance to really follow wrestling because it wasn't allowed in my house. But whenever I stayed over at my grandma's place, I could stay up late, and at that time, they would have wrestling at a certain time of the night, and we are talking about the era of people like Razor Ramon and stuff like that. So that is my wrestling story. I kind of had to watch it in secret, like because I wasn't allowed to do that. So it's kind of a funny story.
Who was your favorite back then, if you had to choose one?
I would say it's Razor Ramon, because he was like so cool, like he
cool
had
guy, swag.
Like the entire superstar kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. And you're a singer too, man. Like, so you've done a lot of music stuff in Singapore. Like, I've seen some of your music videos on your YouTube channel, and it looks legit, high quality. You're a great singer, man.
Thank you. So in Singapore, I'm known more as an actor. I started out as an actor.
Oh, cool.
Well, no, not really. I started out as a contestant on Singapore Idol, and then I went into modeling, and then I went into acting because that was the opportunity that was afforded me at that point in time.
Yeah.
And it was like much later, when my acting career had been established, that I went back to music, right?
Yeah.
And music has always been a part of my DNA. And so
Sure.
that's also another reason why, I left my acting career behind in Singapore to come over here to focus on music production for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. Nat, I don't know if I told you this. I think I told Fred, but I got to have a little. I got to spend some time a little bit with your mom. Super nice lady, and she told me a little childhood story of you that I thought was really cool. She told me that you always been musically talented, and she noticed at a really young age. And I believe she told me that another relative noticed it too, and that relative told your mom that, oh, your kid's very musical. You should keep an eye on that. Like make sure you grow that, which I thought was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just glad, I have family that's supportive of what I do, and that I'm even able to be here right now because like LA holds a special place in my heart because it is and still is really like the
Right.
entertainment capital of the world, and the best and the brightest come here to learn, to collaborate and everything. So I feel like incredibly fortunate to be here, and
Mhm.
also to know like Fred and yourself, Arnold, like who have been just like amazing friends and made my move here a lot more welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. But yeah, I know that
That's,
last. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Fred.
oh no, you can go. You can go, buddy.
I was gonna say, I know that last week you and Fred had a little Zoom call with all your followers to educate your followers about this whole ketones, right?
Hmm. So I mean that particular call wasn't. I mean I wasn't the one hosting it.
Mm,
What happens is we work together as a community. So we also have like top coaches who come in and like talk about like ketone education and stuff like that. Because ultimately for us, yes, although there's a business component to this, but ultimately it's not about sales. It's really about putting the education that's out there, because we are living in a time where things are like really complicated, and like people as it is, they don't have enough time for themselves, for their
mhm.
families, much less to have time to take care of their fitness and stuff. And there's so
Right.
much conflicting information out there,
Mhm.
and a lot of it is motivated by money. So I mean, case in point, the whole entire low fat movement,
Uh-huh.
right? It
Uh-huh.
is particularly disturbing to me because, the fact of the matter is when people buy something that's low fat, because they've been programmed to think that, oh yeah, fat is bad for you. So if
Sure.
I buy something low fat, I'm doing something good for me. But what
Right.
they don't realize is that it's just like really terrible marketing and terrible education, because when you remove fat from food, what happens is that it changes the taste profile of whatever it is you're eating. So
Mhm.
if you actually compare labels on like
Mhm.
low fat food compared to like regular, a similar product that is not low fat,
Yeah.
you will notice that the sugar content is a lot higher in the low fat food. and
What?
and even if they don't put in sugar, they will have to put other like chemical fillers and additives to make it taste better.
To make up
So
for the lack of taste.
yeah,
Wow.
so it is very disturbing because people are thinking, I'm eating all this low fat stuff, why am I getting fatter?
Sure. Well, I kind of want to take it to the beginning a little bit for someone like me and for all
Mhm.
those that don't really know too much. What is ketones exactly? I'm going to let you have the floor here and just basic ketones 101.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I think like recently there's been a lot of buzz about the keto diet.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that this thing only became mainstream in the past few years. But the idea of like the keto diet, the idea of like ketosis, it's been around for years. It first started um, when they were kind of exploring the effects of ketones on children with I believe it's autism or something.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and I mean it, because the fact of the matter is that ketones are really good brain fuel, right?
Mm.
And
Okay.
how do you even get ketones? So to answer that question, we have to go to the question of what is ketosis.
You're right.
So ketosis basically it's a metabolic state in which your body uses fat and a metabolic state whereby your body uses fat and ketones rather than glucose or sugar as its main fuel source. And what a lot of people don't realize is that this is actually our native state. It's the
No
state that
way.
we were designed to function in, you know. But the fact of the matter is that nowadays, with the modern diet,
Yeah.
majority of people's default fuel source is actually glucose and carbs and sugars, right?
Mhm.
Because because that is just how our bodies have adapted. But
Sure.
was it designed to function that way? No, it wasn't. I mean, look, if you so how do you even get into a state of ketosis? Okay, basically when your carb stores or glucose stores are very low,
Hmm.
your liver then converts your fat cells to ketones for energy.
Okay.
So to explain why that is actually our native fuel, why we were designed that way, you need to, you know, go back to the time of, I don't know when,
Caveman.
caveman. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right. So you know, it's not every day you're gonna be able to hunt an animal for food. You
Yeah.
probably will have to go like, you know, a few days
Sure.
without food, right, till you
Right.
get like your next game. And so, you know, so your body was designed to put you in a state of ketosis whereby mentally you're more alert, you know, your performance is better as well. I mean, most people would think that, oh, if I don't have food, I'm going to have less energy and stuff like that, right? But
Right.
that is not the case, because from an evolutionary perspective, if you know, if you're if you're in a starved state, right, and
Right.
you need the energy to go get your food, so your body
Right.
has evolved to run on ketones to give you that better alertness, that better performance,
Right.
so that you can catch your next animal to eat.
So you think it's just mental, like a mental thing when people are like, oh, like I'm out of energy because I don't have food in my system. Do you think that's like a
No, so
voice?
I'm glad you asked that question. It is absolutely not a mental thing. What they are feeling is really real. And that is precisely because they are running on carbs. And that is why carbs are so dangerous, you know, because so what happens in your brain can only function on two types of fuel, right? One
Mhm.
is glucose and the other is ketones.
Okay.
So, you know, just think, you know, if let's say you're driving a high performance vehicle, that's your brain, right?
Okay.
You know, there is a big difference whether you pump like a low grade fuel versus like a high grade fuel that is
Yes.
of
Yes.
course premium and a lot more expensive, but you
Mhm.
know, you are going to get a lot more performance out of your sports car. It's
Right.
going to go further and longer and with less maintenance
Right.
compared to using a cheap fuel. So that is exactly what is going on in your brain.
Okay.
So when somebody runs on glucose, which is most people, okay,
Mhm.
you know, have you ever had like a really full meal, like, you know, a lot of rice and pasta, or like even like cake for dessert, and
Hey.
you get like super hyped up, but like half an hour to an hour later, you're just like crashing and you want to
Yeah.
sleep.
Food coma.
Yeah, food coma. That is exactly what happens when you're running on glucose.
Right.
So you know, like you get that spike and then like a sudden crash. But with
Yeah.
ketones, what happens is, you know, you last longer and are functioning at a more optimized, more efficient manner.
Right.
And so that's also a big component of why you want to be in ketosis, why you want to be running on ketones,
Yeah.
because when your brain is nourished, you know, you're not going to feel hungry. You're not going to get that hunger signal. So you're not going to reach for that chocolate bar that is going to give you more calories.
Yeah.
So
You don't even
even,
crave it, huh?
yeah, so even without deliberately making that choice to eat healthy or eat less snacks, you're already doing it because you have ketones running in you and your
Wow.
brain is happy. So it's not going to crave that bar of chocolate, right?
Yeah. So I might be jumping ahead here, but this is I'm assuming this is a lifestyle for you, right? It's not like a 3 month process and back to your like normal eating habit. I assume that this is a lifestyle for you personally. Do you have cheat days where you're like one day out of the week where you're like, okay, I'm not living that ketones life right now, just like a Sunday or something like that? And if you do decide to do that, is that okay?
Okay, so I am going to tell you something. I cheat all the time. Yeah, and the reason why I can do this is precisely because I'm running on ketones, right?
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, if I need to, like go on a stricter diet, maybe because I need to get in shape for a role, then
Yeah.
I can easily do that as well. I mean, maybe let me backtrack and even um, let me backtrack and tell you how I even came to know about ketones.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry for jumping the gun on that
No,
one.
no, no worries, no worries. I think it will, provide our listeners a lot of, some better context. So what happened was, at that time, um, I was engaged to do a role, and
Hmm.
last minute there was like a character swap because like the the other the other actor didn't want to do so many like kissing scenes, right? So we were like, okay, we still want to use you, but are you okay to like swap and do the playboy role?
Right.
And I was like,
You'd
okay,
be like,
so
yeah, that's my lifestyle. No, I'm just kidding.
so I was like, okay, so does that mean I have bed scenes? Then they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, how long do I have before my first bed scene? Because if I had known about this earlier, I can have more time to prepare, right?
Sure. Sure.
But it was a last minute swap, and they said, well, you have 2.5 weeks. And I was like, 2.5 weeks, guys, you can't do this to me, because I mean, it would normally take about 2.5 months to kind of like get in decent shape for TV, right?
Sure.
And at that time, I was doing another show, which was a family drama. So obviously, I didn't need to take off my clothes, and
Right.
I was also running a food business. Um,
Oh,
so so between on days where I was not filming, I was at my shop cashiering and like serving customers.
wow.
So I mean, obviously at that point in time, like looking good was not my priority, right? Looking good naked was not my
Right.
priority.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I had been given this challenge and this situation, and as a professional, I want to make the best of it, right?
Right. Right.
So immediately I went on the traditional keto diet, which I had done before and which I know works.
Okay.
Um, but the challenge with the traditional keto diet is that your daily carb intake needs to be really, really, really low. So you need to be super strict about it, because the moment like you eat a cake or a donut, bam, you're out of ketosis again. And then you
Wow.
take a few days to deplete that and get back into that state of ketosis.
Uh-huh.
So this is the biggest challenge that a lot of people have when first going into a keto lifestyle, because they think that, oh, I have to be super strict on my diet, and it's just not feasible for a lot of people, right?
Sure.
And
Sure.
and even if, let's say, they're able to do it, your first week or even up to 2 weeks, they have what you call like a keto flu or an induction flu, whereby you just feel like dying. Why? Because what is happening in your body is that the source of fuel that you're used to, glucose, is being taken away. But at the same time, your body is not keto adapted yet. You're not eating
Right.
enough fat,
Sure.
so it's not producing enough ketones for you to sustain your energies. And so during that entire 1 to 2 week period, you just feel like grumpy and
Angry.
angry. Yeah, like you wanna eat babies. You know, it's it's not a nice feeling, and so most
Sure.
people don't actually get over that hump to experience the true benefits of
Yeah.
ketosis, by doing the traditional method. So this is why ketones is such a game changer, right? So for myself at that point in time, straight away I went on the keto diet, but it was about 3 or 4 days in, I came to know about ketones simply because I was running a pop-up store at a fitness convention at that time.
Mhm.
And the
Mhm.
next door neighbor had a banner that said, get into ketosis, within 60 minutes. I'm like, how is that possible?
What?
Yeah, because I mean, at that time, I thought I knew everything about the keto diet and being in ketosis and like no matter how strict I am, it's going to take a few days to get into that
Sure.
state. And here they were saying within an hour. I'm like, come on. So I mean, I I had my booth there anyway, so I thought I'm just gonna talk to the lady and find out what it was. And you know what? By then, time was ticking, right? So I only had 2 weeks left to my first bid scene.
Right.
And I thought, okay, you know what? Screw this. I'm just gonna try it. Like, what do I have to lose, right? And literally within 11 days, I saw visible results, which, I mean, no matter how effective traditional keto was, like, I don't think it would have been this fast.
Sure.
And more importantly, besides the physical aspect of things, like, because at that time I was running 2 productions concurrently, plus my food business, right?
Booked and busy.
Yeah, it was so intense, and what was a game changer for me was that I felt this incredible energy and like mental clarity, and it's really obvious, and I knew it had to be the product because like some mornings I wake up and I just like, oh, I don't feel human, right? But literally like 10 minutes after taking the thing, I'm like, hey, I think I can go out and see the world. Like, I'm not going to kill the first person I meet,
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, I think we're onto something here.
Wow.
And what was even more amazing was that, what I did take my before and after photos. And so that was about 11, my second photo was about 11 days in, and then my next photo was about a month after. And at that time, when the moment production starts, I have no time to go to the gym. So if I was lucky, maybe I would gym like once a week. But there was still like visible results even after a month. The only thing I kept consistent was drinking my ketones every day. So I'm like, okay, this thing is magic. And so that is what really started my whole journey. So my reason why I wanted to share that with you guys is to go back to the point, which your earlier question, whereby you said, do people have to maintain a strict keto diet with this? And the answer is no, not really, unless you want to. And an analogy that I really love to use is, for example, if I say, okay, I'm gonna give you $10,000 every month. Oh, sounds nice, right? So I'm gonna give you $10,000 every month. Okay, you can choose to spend 9,000 and save 1,000, or you can choose to spend 1,000 and save or invest 9,000. Either way, the benefits that you get, the amount you get is still the same, but how much more you want to get out of that depends on the rest of your lifestyle.
Right.
So I hope that answers your question.
No, that's a great analogy. So what I wanted to also ask you is, like, let's say for someone like me, right? If you're giving me this ketones knowledge and everything, I'm like, okay, so I want to live this lifestyle. How does someone like me start, adapt, and what's gonna be my emotional roller coaster during my first day or like couple of days?
Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about taking ketones and not the traditional, right? Because if you're
like the route that you're doing.
Okay, so firstly you would wanna go like order the ketones, right? And we have this thing called,
and this is when you say that it's like a almost like a supplement, like a powdered drink.
Oh yeah. So I actually have like a sample here. It has my name, but no, it's not. I mean, the only reason it has my name is because this is naturally fermented. So for people who are particular about the stuff that they're putting into their body,
right?
This is really good because not only are our ingredients from natural sources, with this new keto nat series, even the bonding process is through a process of natural fermentation. So that's why there's like Nat on the label.
So my packet won't say Arnold.
No, well, maybe in future, who knows? You know,
Kidding.
Prove It is a really cool and amazing company, and they're always like innovating all the time, and that is
Okay.
what, you know, puts us. That is what makes us a category king in terms of like the entire ketone industry. Yeah. So sorry, back to your question. I could talk about this all day. I love it.
All good.
So what you can expect is, you know, once you order the thing and you take the ketones and you receive your ketones, I normally would tell people, you know, take your before photo, you know, front, side, and back,
Okay.
right? And I would also say ignore the weighing scale because and this would also be of interest to, you know, people like people in the sporting arena, like athletes and stuff, because a lot of times they're worried about like losing muscle mass and stuff.
Sure.
Right? But the great thing about ketones is the fact that, you know, we are focused on fat loss, and it also preserves muscle at the same time. So yeah, you know, like with a lot of other crash diets and stuff, you lose a lot of muscle as well,
Sure.
as, you know, at the same time. But with ketones and with like the keto lifestyle, there is actually a muscle preserving effect while you maintain, while you have fat loss at the same time. So in terms of the weighing scale, unless somebody is, you know, like obese, those people in that category tend to see more results on the weighing scale. But for, you know, someone else whose body composition is more like muscular, they like the weighing scale is not going to give you an accurate kind of thing. So what you really want to measure and what you should be looking at is actually like body fat and body composition. Right. So that's also why we tell them to take a photo, because, you know, I mean, unless you Photoshop, but photos don't, you know, photos don't lie. And because you see yourself every day, you may not realize how much you have changed.
Yeah.
But when you compare to the first photo you took, you're like, oh my goodness, like, you know, I have become so much better without even realizing it, because all it takes is just to drink this drink like once or twice a day.
Okay, so do you drink it right when you wake up in the morning, or can you drink it on an empty stomach, or how do you suggest
that's a great question. So normally I would recommend, you know, making it part of your routine. So upon waking, like even before I brush my teeth, I take it, I drink it, and it just like starts my day on a nice and perky note, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and also especially if you're new to it, I wouldn't recommend like chugging it, even though it tastes really good, because firstly, we need you to slowly get keto adapted, and it would take about ideally about 10 days to get keto adapted. And more importantly, because our delivery is via ketone salts. So what that means is, you know, whenever you take in a lot of salt at once, it's going to draw water into your intestines, and then you're going to have to go to the toilet, right? So for better absorption, I generally recommend people to, you know, like just enjoy it slowly over like half an hour. Just kind of like
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Which I must say is my favorite, because gut health is so important to me. First thing in the morning, chug my drink. Again, we don't want to recommend this to first-time exogenous ketone users, but for me, it helps me use the bathroom. It gets my day started, and I'm a big believer in it. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I'm glad you did. Fred, so Fred's been doing this for a while now, and he's all in, and he's getting great results. I see the before and after. Fred, question for you. Do you use it as a pre-workout, or do you also use a pre-workout on top of this?
Well, I was wondering when you guys were gonna let me put my 2 cents in, but again, Coach Nat is a plethora of knowledge. I'm glad he's on our podcast. I always say, don't die with the story in you, tell it. I think and Coach Nat, you could probably correct me, I think it was probably June, May, when I was kind of dabbling into the exogenous ketones, drinking it here and there. But I realized when you keep doing the same thing, you get the same results. So it was probably September when I pretty much went full time into exogenous ketones. So I stopped with the caffeine drinks and I stopped with a lot of the other supplements that I was taking because I wanted to get the full effects of exogenous ketones. And Coach Nat, I haven't forgotten. I think I owe you a box. I know I owe you a box, but I need to open it up. It's the Heart's Heart, my mom's personal favorite. So don't think I have forgotten. But yeah, you use it all the time, Nat, it being a game changer. And it was a game changer for me because I started seeing the effects when I wrestled at Centenary University. I was preparing for that match and my training was better. I was lean. I was leaner than I had been in years. And also my memory, I always say from all the wrestling I do, CTE concussions. Well, that's just an excuse that I use to get a good laugh out of people. But for me, it really helped when I started doing the musical. I started working on the musical in December of 2019. And then I went out to New York and did the musical, and it was tough. It was a lot of the information for me to retain, and Coach Nat helped me run lines throughout the months preparing for the musical. But I realized it made a big difference to me because once I got all the lines in my head, it was just so easy. I'm a big believer in it. And again, Coach Nat and I always say we're not salesperson, but we want to share our experiences. And I have some questions written out that a lot of fans have asked me, wanting to know about what the exogenous ketones are. And I think you asked some, Arnold, and Coach Nat provided some great answers. Again, I'm still learning too. You're learning about this, Arnold. I'm still learning about this. And as an athlete, I just want to be able to share all the knowledge as to how it's helped me out, how it's benefited me.
And on top of that, I also like your shirt there, Fred.
You got to represent, baby. You got to don't talk about
keto born.
Don't talk about
both of you guys. All right.
Yeah.
Feeling kind of left out here.
Don't talk about it. Well, you got to jump on the bandwagon, Arnold. Again, I'm not a salesperson, but I want to just be able to share my experiences as how it's helped me out with dealing with my god babies. Me, I'm a gunkle,
right.
The gay uncle that's watching
Gunkle.
over these babies. So you got to have energy with these babies, working out in the garage now, working out in the backyard now. With all the craziness going on, you need the energy, and the exogenous ketones is really helping me out.
So what I'm assuming is for someone like me who's starting out, you'd probably take 1 or 2 a day, right? And I'm assuming just live a healthy lifestyle, be wise with your food intake and all that. But does it get more specific than that for the food intake? Is there some food that that helps ketone more, or is there some that like you should totally avoid, or is it pretty lenient and just use your common sense?
Okay, so no, that's a great question. Sorry, Fred.
No, well, I mean, before Coach Nat starts, for me, like I can cheat a little bit. I can get away with cheating a little bit and still living a great lifestyle, incorporating the exogenous ketones. I'm doing 2 a day now because I just need the energy and the mental clarity and all that other goodness that the exogenous ketones provide. So, it's a part of my daily routine that's really, really helping me out. But Coach Nat?
Well, I couldn't have answered that better myself. I mean, like Fred is all in, But I know that's a great question, and that's a question that a lot of people would be, concerned about when they first start. So I would say it really depends on your goals, because, for example, for some people, maybe they're just like a tired mom and they just want to feel the energy, right? Then, obviously a tired mom is not going to have time to prepare like keto friendly food and, like order in. She'll want something that's easy and convenient, and probably because she's a tired mom, her focus would be on like mental clarity and like energy and focus and stuff. So all she needs to do is really to just like take take the ketones, right?
Right.
And like the fat loss would actually be a side effect. Will it be as pronounced as somebody who is doing like the whole 9 yards, the whole like keto diet and stuff? No, no, not really. So again, it really depends on your objective. But a good starting point is to just start taking it. So first thing in the morning, and what I think some people also have questions with regards to intermittent fasting, right? And
That's what I'm actually been doing for the past 4 months or so, and it's
yeah,
actually been really great for me.
yeah. So
Because you're copying me, Arnold. You're copying
I
me.
know,
You want
man.
to be,
But I
you want
changed
to
up
be
my
like me.
hours, Fred.
What are your
My eating
hours?
period is from 12 to 5 now.
Wait,
yeah,
12 to 5.
it's
Really?
great that you guys are doing intermittent fasting, and I'm a huge fan of that as well. Um, so when you incorporate ketones into intermittent fasting, it's something that happens really naturally, because for example, when I take it first thing in the morning, I actually don't even feel hungry till
Mhm.
about 12:30 or even 1 o'clock, you
Yeah.
know. And then that will end up being my first meal of the day. And as
And it
long
doesn't even break the fasting
no,
cycle.
not really, because each packet in terms of caloric content, it's actually very, very low.
Got
and
it.
and it actually helps to kind of like extend your ketosis, because um, overnight your body has already depleted the glucose stores, right? So it
Mhm.
would actually have started producing a little bit of ketones, and then when you give your body like more ketones, like, oh good, I have more ketones, and then so your brain is happy,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So and only like maybe 12:30 or 1 you have your first meal. And if you don't eat anything, like in your case after 5, for me it's like after 8. Yeah. And so it falls into like a really natural cycle and natural rhythm, and it doesn't even feel like I'm doing
Sure.
a diet, because it's not. That's why for
Lifestyle.
myself I love calling it the keto lifestyle, because it's so
Sure.
easy, and
Right.
I think people are scared of doing something like this because they think it's difficult, because in their mind they're like, oh, I have to do like the traditional thing, and I don't think I can do it. And like when something is really difficult, there's a higher chance of failure, and people just don't like to fail, right? And
Right.
so before they even try, they give up, and they never get to see the benefits of it, or they say, oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is not for me. So our aim with the ketones is really to make it super easy for people to start feeling the benefits of that. And then when it's so easy, they are going to be successful in doing it, and then they're going to integrate it into their lifestyle. And this is how you create results that are sustainable long term, even for
Gotcha.
people who are not hardcore athletes, for people like you and me, for that
I'm
tired
a hardcore
mom.
athlete, man. Speak for yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
So I
Speak
mean,
for yourself, Nat. Just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
it's basically great for everyone.
No, no,
And
I
Arnold,
totally, I
and
totally.
Arnold,
Hmm.
Arnold, I can definitely co-sign to what Coach Nat is saying. He's been with me every step of the way in this process, because I still have questions. We do
Sure.
these group Zoom calls, and after we're done with the Zoom calls, I have to Zoom one-on-one with Nat and ask him questions. So as we speak, I'm still
Yeah.
learning about the science behind it, and
Sure.
the benefits. I know my mom is a huge fan of exogenous ketones. She's been doing
Oh,
it
she's doing
for
it.
I don't know how long, Coach Nat. How long has my mom been doing it? Yes.
I think she started just before you, because she went to Singapore and stayed with Jane, right? And so like Jane is kind of like her coach as well. And yeah, so she's just been like really enjoying it, and I think it's one of those things that your mom has really taken to as well.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Well,
Another.
one of the benefits that I'm very happy that my mom, she has stopped with certain sleeping pills that she was taking that was worrying the hell out of me. I said, Mom, you got to get off these sleeping pills and all this other stuff that she was on. So she's not taking any of that stuff anymore. She's supplementing with exogenous ketones, which is helping with her appetite It's helping with her sleep, which she always had trouble with. So I'm
Wow.
glad she jumped on the bandwagon. I'm glad she jumped on the bandwagon, you know. And again, it's like for me, you keep doing the same thing, you get the same results. So you got to make a change sometime. And for me, at 35 at the time, I said, why not? You know, give it a shot. So I eliminated certain supplements. I still take my fish oil and all that stuff and my creatine, but
Yeah.
no Celsius or any of that stuff. Intermittent fasting, supplementing with exogenous ketones during the afternoon. Right now, as we speak, I'm going to supplement with caffeine free, and I still get the benefits. I'm still alert and all that other good stuff. So yeah, sorry to cut you off, Coach.
Fred, I am super glad you brought that up actually, because you know earlier on you mentioned that your mom is off like the sleeping pills, and even you said you're also off the pre-workout supplements and stuff, and those are actually really good points, because what happens is that when something is so not so natural, right? Yes, you may get like the results that you want, but what it does is it really messes with your metabolism. It also
Sure.
like messes with like, you know, your hormonal balance.
Yeah.
When your hormones are out of whack, a lot of times insomnia is actually caused by like, you know, like hormonal imbalance, right?
Mhm.
And insulin is also a hormone. So when someone is like, you know, on a really like high carb diet or high sugar diet, what happens is that they start building insulin resistance, and then your body needs to start producing more and more insulin to kind of like get the same results, and then it becomes like pre-diabetic, you know. So the great thing about ketones is that it's our native fuel source, and by bringing your body back to the way it was designed to function, your body, it's like it's an amazing machine, right? So it
Sure.
kind of like heals itself, you know. I'm not saying like ketones are like
Is
the cure all
the
or
bulletproof
whatever,
way.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but what I'm saying is that it, by using ketones to get your body back into the way it was designed to function,
Yeah.
like your body can do the amazing things it was meant to do.
Sure. Another important question that I'm sure a lot of people are wondering is, how does it taste like? How does the drink taste like? Is it more like savory, like you're drinking soup, or is it more like medicine-y?
So I mean, everybody like likes different kinds of flavors, and that's why we have a ton of different flavors. I mean, personally, my favorite is probably like lime and hot tart, and also on other days I like this flavor is called sunshine. It tastes a little bit like a cucumber lemon, but this is limited edition flavor, so
Right.
so it's only available during, you know, special flash sales and stuff. But
Nat, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the ketones that you're doing right now, is the company called Nat?
no, the company is called Prove It.
Prove It. That's the name of the
Mhm.
company.
Yeah, Prove It
Okay.
ketones.
Got it.
So not all ketones are created equal, and Prove It being like the category king in this industry, like our ketones are the most like bioavailable and bioidentical to the stuff that your body actually produces.
Mm.
So that actually, you know, like helps absorb and like lets you perform at a more optimal level as well.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Arnold,
Hmm.
my favorite is Black Label because it's the strongest. It gets me going, baby. So this is my favorite. But Coach
Nice.
Nat, I gotta ask you a question from a fan of mine. They asked, "Will Keto's OS cause a false positive on a drug test?" That's a question that a fan asked.
Okay, so for this one, you know, I think it depends on what they're testing for, but you know, we have a lot of like top athletes who use it, and you know, like because the fact of the matter is that our ingredients are all natural, and because it's bioidentical to what your body is producing, it should not actually like cause any false positive on the thing. But again, I don't know what they're testing for, so if they're worried about that, it's best to work with their sports doctor to let them know that they're taking this and run their own like tests before going into anything that's major. So
Mm.
I would actually recommend them working with their own trusted medical professional.
Yeah.
But off the top of my head, I don't think it should cause anything.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Another question, Coach, is it safe for people with type 2 diabetes?
Okay, so because I'm not a licensed medical professional, I cannot answer that question. But what I can say is that, like, even if you go on YouTube and you search like diabetes TED Talk, you will see the effect a ketogenic lifestyle has on diabetes, right? So, um, we can, so by going on ketogenic lifestyle, you could actually get a lot of improvement, um, um, in terms of, like, your markers for diabetes and stuff. So ketones can help you get to transition to that kind of state. But again, for compliance reasons, I'm not allowed to say that this can help, and so
Sure.
I want to be clear about that. But you can do your own research. I mean, there's a lot of promising data that's out there.
Nice. Okay, so
That's great. That's great, Coach. You know, I'm not. Wait, hold on, Arnold. I'm not a hypochondriac, so I don't go to the doctor all the time. But when I do go to the doctor, before I was on exogenous ketones, the doctor would always say my liver enzymes are low. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? My liver enzymes being low. I'm doing everything correctly. I'm not doing any drugs or anything. I'm taking creatine. I don't know if that could be bringing my liver enzymes low. But earlier this year, I went back to the doctor, got checked out, and my liver enzymes are where they should be. So I don't know if it's because I incorporated exogenous ketones. I don't know if it's because I eliminated certain supplements. But I mean, I feel that, there's a saying, what works for me might not work for you, but I can promise you, definitely supplementing, giving exogenous ketones a try will definitely make a big difference in your life. But Arnold?
I was gonna say it's not really too important of a question. I just curious for if I were to order ketones from your company, that supply, is that gonna last? Is that like a month supply? Is that like a week supply, or is it different packages?
Okay, so generally one box is about 20 packets inside. So that will last, if you take one a day, that's going to last you 20 days. Most people go on at least 2 boxes. Some who want to go all in do like 3 boxes. So, I mean, personally, I think for someone starting out, like the 2 box would be the most value for money, because, this way you get covered for 1 a day for the entire month. And you have an additional 10 in case you want to, use it, take a second one
Twice
to
a day.
pick me up. Yeah. But also more importantly, you have enough to share with friends if they ask you about it. And why would you want to do that? Because we have this thing called Smart Ship, right? So Smart Ship is actually great for people who love this and they're like, okay, I want to get this every month. So every company has a loyalty program, right? So for us, our loyalty program is Smart Ship. And what that means is from your second month onwards, every month you're going to get it at 22% off, right? So that's amazing. And to sweeten that deal, every 3 months that you're on Smart Ship, your 4th month, you will get 1 extra box for free. And then it resets again another 3 months, and then your 4th month you get another box for free. So that actually makes like the thing a lot more affordable for like our loyal customers.
Yeah.
And to make it even better, we have what we call the free Smart Ship program. So like it's common maybe when you use some, I don't know, delivery apps or something, you get a coupon code, and if you share it with friends, you get like $10 off or something like that, right? So likewise, even as a customer, if you love your stuff and you're on Smart Ship, you just like share your link with your friends, and
Right.
once they go on Smart Ship, as long as you have 2 friends on Smart Ship, as long as they're on Smart Ship, your Smart Ship would be free or close to free. All you need to do is pay shipping. So I mean, it really depends on like how many boxes they're buying, and yeah. But I mean, so it's a great way to get your ketones for cheap if you love
Right.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
And also the thing is, Arnold, I tell a lot of my fans that I'm in contact with in the DM that are interested about exogenous ketones, I say to them, do you want to spend your money on doctor bills, or do you want to spend your money on going on vacations and living a healthy lifestyle? You know, not a diet, a healthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
And a lot of times the light bulb pops on. They say, yeah, you're right. You know, I want to be able to spend my money on health and wellness. I want to be able to spend my money on vacations instead of
Yeah,
doctor bills. So
yeah,
that's that's first and foremost for me. With all the craziness going on in the world, you can strip me of my clothes, you can strip me of my finances, you can strip me of everything, but you cannot and will not strip me of my good health.
that's awesome.
Fred, that is such an awesome point, and I mean, since moving to the US, I
Well,
realized,
I learned from you, coach. Coach, coach,
yeah,
coach. I learned from you.
oh,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. But I mean, personally, like moving to the States, I realized how crazy expensive it is to see a doctor right now.
Oh yeah,
So, so the
especially
fact,
now.
yeah,
So I
I,
just sorry to interrupt, but I just came back from Indonesia for our anniversary trip, and I just wanted to be like on the safe side. I was gonna call to get in like to get a little physical, make sure I'm all good, and all
Mhm.
that. And I think I called in February. No,
Yeah,
maybe did I call like or late January? And I
yeah,
remember I couldn't get an appointment until like late February
yeah.
because of this whole situation that's going on right now. Like, whoa. So I just went to my local clinic, but that's crazy. You're right, man.
Yeah. So, I think like a little investment in yourself. I mean, ultimately, self-care is so important. And I only really appreciated self-care
Yeah,
when I got older.
sure.
Yeah.
So for someone like me who's interested and they want to, take the next step on this ketones life, where should they go? What site? Like,
Well, firstly, you should go to Fred since Fred spoke to you about it. And then you can buy it from his link, which is blockthehate.proveitnow.com.
ah,
Yeah. And then when you get your link, then you can share it with your friends.
I see. Okay,
Yeah. So
okay.
it's like, like don't pay people back, pay it forward, right?
Sure, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's
Yeah. So
awesome, man.
that's where we're coming from.
That's great. That's awesome.
You
And
know, guys, this episode was very important because half of it was going to be about health and wellness, and half of it is going to be about wrestling. But it's very important because, like I say daily, don't die with a story and you tell it. So, again, we're not salespeople. We're just looking to share our stories to help people continue to live a better health style.
Exactly, because you never know who this is going to resonate with. Maybe, it's somebody who really needs this right now at their point in life.
yeah, I mean, my mentality is this, like me speaking for me personally, like, even if you got a whole system right now that's working fine and doing great, that's great. But this is, in my opinion, it's worth taking a look at. And if you're able to level up your health, why not? Because I'm still gonna be doing like we talked about earlier. I'm doing intermittent fasting, and it's been doing wonders for me. And if I were to add this ketones lifestyle on top of that, it's just gonna benefit me more, which I'm super excited about, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Coach Nat,
Yes.
how hard was it for me to get involved? You've been telling me about it. It'll probably be what, May, June, almost a year. You've been telling me about it. How long? It took me a while for me to like get into it.
Yeah, it definitely did. And I found generally it's people that have been are really into the fitness industry that are a bit more resistant to this because they think that, okay, I've been doing this for years. I know like everything there is to know about it. But the fact of the matter is that,
Yep.
Especially in the area of sports science and nutrition, there are like exciting new developments happening every single day, right? And so, if you have something that is cutting edge and it's going to give you the edge, like why not go for it? And I
Right.
think as people who want to excel at their game, we need to constantly look for that 1% better and be 1% better every single day, right? And that also means, upgrading our education and being open to what is out there. And as long as, like it's not doing any harm to your body and it's good for you. And more importantly, I mean, we now know that it is, it's really returning to how your body was designed to function in the most natural way possible. Like, I mean, it's really a no-brainer. I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pumped right now, man. I'm excited. I'm ready
Yeah.
for the six-pack abs to show up,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, man. This episode with you is so informative, and I feel like this episode is a little selfish because if anything, it's for me. Like like I want to all stuff that I kind of want to like learn. Like I've seen you guys, been doing this for a while. Oh, another question I forgot to ask. I remember at one point, both you and Fred have been posting something where you guys went on a 3-day fast or something like that.
Oh yeah. It's great that you brought it up. So this is actually the 60-hour reboot. It's something that we do together as a community every month. But again, it's not compulsory, only if you really want to do it. And I would actually recommend for somebody who is already on ketones to do it later on, rather than somebody new to just jump straight into it, because it could be really intense.
Sure.
Right? So I mean, you already know the benefits of intermittent fasting.
Yes.
So why a 60-hour fast? So what happens during a 60-hour fast is, yes, your body naturally goes into ketosis, but you stay in that state of ketosis a lot longer and like deeper, right? So, at past a certain amount of hours, your body actually goes into what is called autophagy, whereby it starts like eating its, like old, abnormal or dead cells and starts regenerating itself on a cellular level. So, it's almost like being born again, basically. And it's I mean, just like how we all have to occasionally reboot our smartphones. Likewise, your body is a supercomputer. So if you want it to function well, you need to like reset your metabolism, and we do that through this 60-hour fast. And I mean, like we found that 60 hours is a really optimal time, because if you prolong the fast for too long, sometimes it could be overly stressful on your body, especially if you're not used to it. But 60 hours is kind of like a really optimum level, whereby it also kicks your immune system into like high gear, and there's just a lot of benefits with that. And I think more importantly, also besides the physical aspect of that, we also often use the 60 hours as a chance to reset mentally and emotionally as well. The act of not even having to chew your food actually helps a lot with stress levels, because chewing is a stress response. This is what people don't realize. So, when you chew your food, you actually like kind of, there's like a stress response to that, right? So, like some people at night when they sleep, they grind their teeth. That's a stress response. So by not having any solid food for 60 hours, your body actually really gets a chance to like rest and de-stress, and but at the same time, to do a hard 60-hour fast without the support of ketones is actually incredibly challenging as well. So that's why this is a great, middle ground, whereby people can do the 60-hour fast with the support of ketones. So like at least your brain is still, nourished, and you don't get those hunger pangs. And for myself, I actually used to have gastric issues, like gastric pain. So the first time I did this 60-hour fast, I was actually pretty worried about it. But what I found subsequently is that as long as I follow the timing on the box, like I think your first one, you have to take it at like 9 a.m. and then 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and then another one like half an hour before you sleep. So there's also like a whole plethora of different products. There's the ketones, and there's also like a bone broth that Fred loves.
I love it, baby. I love it. I love it. I've done the fast, the ketone assisted fast 3 times, and I have 0 issues, Arnold. And I'm not
That's
bullshit.
awesome.
0 issues, and I feel so much better afterwards.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I've seen your before and after pic, and it's unreal.
And you're not supposed to, but I until Coach Nat told me. But before I did my first fast, it was after Christmas, and I purposely ate a ton of. I binge eat. I binge and binge, and it was bad. I just binge eat, and then I did the fast. You're not supposed to do that, but I did it, and
But
I
it
didn't have
made
any
for
issues.
an epic before and after
but-
shot.
Hey man, like Coach Nat says, pictures don't lie, and I'm always posting about it daily. My experiences with exogenous ketones and the reboot.
and I mean, ultimately, the main purpose of the reboot is to get out whatever that's not supposed to be in there. So even if you binge ate, or even if you didn't, whatever is not supposed to be in there will go.
Yeah.
And Coach Nat always uses the analogy: you have to, restart your phone. You have to restart your computer. Same thing with the human body. You got to reboot it. So again, me, I'm an athlete, so I'm like, what do I need to reboot for? What do I need to do exogenous ketones for? I mean, you got to switch it up, because nothing changes unless you change something, because the same old mindset won't create brand new results. So we got to switch it up, man. So hopefully this episode, don't get me started, hopefully this episode can help inspire and motivate and educate people on what exogenous ketones are. Again, almost a year into this, process, I'm still learning about it. So, hey, you're not alone, brother.
Well, I'm super excited, man. Nat, thanks for, sharing your knowledge with us. After this, Fred, I'm hitting you up for that link because I want to start in the next hour.
Well, we can also give you some too to try. Coach Nat and I can help you with that too. But also with our audience, anyone that's watching this episode and they subscribe to our podcast, YouTube, iTunes, they follow us on our Instagram, Pro and Bro Wrestling. They tag 3 friends in our posts about exogenous ketones. We'll probably be able to send them some. So hopefully that can kind of kickstart people's wanting to know about it and wanting to try it. So yeah, I'm very excited about what's in the future for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I really had fun.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your health and wealth with us. And thank you guys for listening and watching us through Zoom. I know I'm genuinely really excited about this because I'm not hyping it up because they're my friends and I just want to support. No, if it's something that I'm a little iffy about, I'll be transparent about it. But I trust Nat, and I also trust Fred, and I've seen Fred's results, and it's I believe in it, and I'm super excited to try it. And if you guys are inspired by this episode to try something new, or just maybe inspired to be more active, more healthy,
or just do something nice for yourself.
Yeah, put yourself as priority. Then I'm glad we were able to do that. So thank you guys for watching. Fred, anything you want to say?
No, brother, we need to take it home. Block the hate, salute the great. Thank you, Coach Nat. Thank you, Arnold.